Hi everyone! Welcome back to Tea at Home Guild Week 3. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Beck. This week we're going to be participating in the National Geographic At Home Earth Day Safari. We will be learning about Earth Day and how the celebration came about. We'll learn about ways we can protect our Earth, particularly through wild animals.
As many of you probably already know, on Wednesday we celebrated 50 years of Earth Day. Well, what is Earth Day? And why do we celebrate it? Every year on April 22nd, billions of people come together to remember the beginning of the environmental movement of 1970. For the first Earth Day, Americans were using massive amounts of fossil fuels and polluting our Earth without even knowing the harm they were doing. In 1962, a book called Silent Spring was released and became very famous. It taught the public about pollution and how our actions have a bad effect on the environment. In 1969, there was a big oil spill in Santa Barbara, California. A man named Senator Gaylord Nelson became very concerned about protecting our environment and wanted to do something about it. Inspired by the student anti-war protests, he thought that we could do the same thing, but for an environmental movement. He found a few other environmentally concerned citizens to join him and get people all around the nation inspired to celebrate our Earth. They chose April 22nd, a weekend following finals and spring break, to get the most students involved. They called the day Earth Day. On April 22nd, 1970, 20 million people gathered together to celebrate our planet through protests and parades. Now, 50 years later, we still join together to recognize our planet and to save it from destruction.
To help the environment is to learn more about it. Today we will be learning about wildlife, and we will be choosing one particular animal to be studying. Wild animals all work together and interact in an ecosystem. One of the main ways wildlife interacts is through the food chain. The first step in the food chain is the energy source. This is typically the sun. Second is the producer. This could be grass or another plant. The grass needs sun to survive. Then there's the consumer, like the mouse. The mouse eats the grass. Next there's the predator, like an owl, that will eat the mouse. Finally, the decomposer. When the predator dies, the decomposer helps to break it down to be fertilizer for those producers. So, when the owl dies, something like a mushroom may grow out of it to help it eventually become soil for the grass. It all works in a cycle, necessary for all sorts of animals on Earth, including us. I mean, we eat the animals that eat other animals that end up consuming sunlight. There are also competitive interactions between species. Competitive interactions are between two animals that are going after the same food source. For example, a lion and a hyena may go after the same hunting ground. Finally, animals can interact in a mutualistic way. What that means is that both animals get something out of it. They're symbiotic. A bee lands on a flower, the flower is able to pollinate, and the bee is able to collect nectar. It's mutually beneficial. Now you will be doing an activity about identifying a wild animal somewhere near your house and sketching it. And trying to think about some ways, other than the ones that we already mentioned, that animal might interact with other animals. Or even a way that animal interacts with the local environment around your house.
Thanks for watching and hope you have fun with your activity. See you at 2:40.